So I got to thinking that I really wanted to sit down and discuss and defend one of my favorite killers in the game, which is Michael Myers. Although Myers is certainly not one of the best killers in the game, far from it, he certainly isn't the worst or one of the worst killers in the game, which I see so many people say, and where I see a lot of content creators put him on the spectrum. The main argument for why people believe Myers is one of the worst killers in the game is that Myers supposedly has a horrendous early game, which isn't entirely false, but it's not entirely true. For example, if you use Myers' very limited terror radius in tier 1 to its advantage, you can definitely sneak up on people and pop your tier 2 in the matter of seconds. Because tier 1 is absolutely awful. He's only 105 movement speed and he has a pretty bad lunge range in tier 1, unless you use Boyfriend's Memo, but we're not going to be discussing add-ons. Now that I mentioned add-ons, I see a lot of people say that Myers is really add-on dependent, which he really isn't. He's not add-on reliant whatsoever, actually. I've played various games without add-ons, and I did perfectly fine. Now this obviously varies from person to person because Clown is a terrible killer, and I have a friend who can make Clown work in higher ranks. That doesn't mean Clown's a good killer, that just means he's good with Clown. Same thing for me. I'm a Trapper main. I love playing Trapper. Trapper is absolutely horrendous, but I can make Trapper work. Why? Because I'm good at Trapper. That doesn't mean the killer's good. Now, I'm going to give one more example before I move on with Myers. Just because I can make a killer like Deathslinger, which I'd say he's like high B tier or low A tier, I can get him to work nearly every game, and I can put on gen pressure if I need to. That doesn't mean Deathslinger is top tier, and that doesn't mean he has good gen pressure. That just means me in particular, and probably other Deathslinger players, are good at doing that, but it doesn't make Deathslinger top tier by any means. So after you get out of your tier 1, which you should do as soon as possible, you shouldn't fuck around in tier 1, but once you get out of tier 1, you're in tier 2. Which then you become a base movement speed killer, and have a base lunge range, and you have a terror radius of 24 meters. This is a huge step up from tier 1, obviously. There's not really much to say about tier 2. I would say you would just probably want to chase people normally and try to build stock and evil off of the people you chase. Now there are definitely other ways you can play tier 2, but I feel like the best way is to 99. Well, this is the best way actually. The best way to play tier 2 into tier 3 is to 99 your tier 2. And then once you feel like you can get a hit off, like for example, if somebody's running to vault a window and then you're 99'd on tier 3 and then you just pop it when they're about to vault, you'll down them instantly. No shit. Although Myers does have snowballing potential, his snowballing potential is solid, I guess, but compared to killers like Oni or Nurse or anything of the sort, really, it's not as good. Not by far, but that doesn't mean Myers doesn't have snowballing potential. See, Myers is still base 115 movement speed in tier 3, just with an additional 10% vaulting speed, and he can insta-down people in tier 3. But what makes killers such as Oni so good at snowballing is that they can get around the map really fast. So let's say Oni downs somebody, and instead of hooking them, he activates his Blood Fury and goes all the way across the map, and then he instantly downs somebody. Oni can get away with slugging almost all of the time because he can create a pretty big snowball effect that'll kind of end the game if he plays it correctly. Myers' snowballing potential isn't very good compared to Oni's since he can't traverse the map that quickly, and I'd say it's a pretty big gamble for the most part if you're going to leave that person downed or just put them on a hook. Personally, I prefer to put that person on a hook because I would only really snowball if there are other survivors pretty close to the one I just downed, but overall I just say slap that survivor on a hook. Now where does Myers sit on something like a tier list, for example? I'd say Myers sits on mid C tier. He is by no means the worst killer in the game. He's certainly not the greatest because I feel as if Myers is an outdated killer, but he's definitely not the worst. You can get out of his early game pretty quickly by using his very limited terror radius to his advantage and playing smart and waiting to pop your tier 3 when an opportunity presents itself. So that's all I really wanted to say, and I really appreciate you for watching this video. So yeah, I hope this video kind of opened your eyes a little bit if you sat the whole way through, and yeah, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. See you later.